Welcome everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you for joining me. If you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button for me. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps support my channel. Leave a comment, also hit the like button. All those things help me out. And as an added bonus, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music. Today we're going to take a look at a new Whitesnake compilation, not really a new album. It's called Love Songs. It's part of the Red, White, and Blues trilogy. It just came out on November 6th of 2020. Not that long since they put out their last one, the Rock album, which is also part of it, this being the white one, and of course this one here being the red one. So the Rock album came out back in June, 5 months ago. Now we've got this one here. It's a compilation of love songs that have been remixed, remastered, and embellished. So that's why I was saying it's not just a straight compilation here. But I think it's worth noting that this is not just ballads on here or the slow songs. There's a great balance between the hard rock and the slower numbers that are on here. So it does have great peaks and valleys and flows. And, you know, most, if not all of Whitesnake's songs have to do with love, so you could, you know, it was no problem for them to easily pick and pull to create this compilation here. And so, jumping back a little bit in here, you know, David Coverdale goes way back, you know, even before Whitesnake, and he came to prominence as the vocalist in Deep Purple back between 73 and 76, and then following that he actually released 2 solo albums before finally forming Whitesnake in 1978. So, you know, a lot of people, especially here in the US, don't think that Whitesnake came around until like 1984, but they were around a lot longer. You know, by 1982, they had already released 5 studio albums. These were much more in a bluesy rock vein, more akin to the Deep Purple sound. But, you know, by this point in 82, following that, they began to move into that more commercial period with the much bigger rock bombastic sound that we know them for. And part of the reason I'm going through this is that they're no stranger to doing re-recordings, remixes, or embellishing, which is what this compilation is here. Starting in 1984 on the Slide It In album, following the recording of the album, they hired new members. And so they actually re-recorded the guitar and the bass parts with John Sykes, new guitar player at that time coming from Thin Lizzy, and then a returning Neil Murray on bass. And this new mix was much more punchy and commercial in sound. Then in 1987, when they released their self-titled album, it contained a re-recording of the songs Here I Go Again and Crying in the Rain. Both of those came from the 1982 Saints and Sinners album. Also, Vivian Campbell, who was hired as a new touring guitarist at the time, re-recorded the guitar solo for the song Give Me All Your Love. For the single release of that, there was a new mix done at the time. And they also released a Japanese EP that was called 87 Versions, which contained remixes and re-recordings. Then in 1989, for their release of Slip of the Tongue, it contained a re-recording of Fool for Your Loving, that one coming from the 1980 album Ready and Willing. And then in 2000, when David Coverdale did a solo album called Into the Light, it featured a re-recording of the Whitesnake song Too Many Tears off of the 1997 album Restless Heart. And so since that time, Whitesnake has done 4 more studio albums, starting with Good to Be Bad in 2008, Forevermore in 2011, the Purple album in 2015, which was re-recordings of Deep Purple songs while he was part of the band, and then Flesh and Blood in 2019, bringing us all the way to present, which is this one here, the Love Songs compilation that we're going to talk about. And so as I mentioned, it's part of the Red, White, and Blues trilogy, the red being the Love Songs, the white being the Rock album, and then in the future, 2021, we will get the Blue album for the blues songs on there. And these songs have been what David Coverdale mentions as revised, remixed, and remastered. Some of them have these musical embellishments by current members, Joel Hoekstra on guitar and Derek Sherinian on keyboards playing the Hammond. And there's even Steve Vai returning, adding some guitar licks to his song, The Deeper the Love, which came off the album he was part of, the 1989 album Slip of the Tongue. And the sound and the instrumentation is much more punchy and prominent. The instrumentation's pulled to the front on this. Things like the guitar fills are much more prominent, so are the keyboards, they're stronger. While the songs are all originals and none of them have been fully re-recorded here, they have been remixed and embellished with these added parts, making the album seem new and fresh, like it's all been recorded at the same time as opposed to individually for the different albums that it spans. I'd also like to acknowledge Chris Collier on here. He did an amazing job remixing these songs, and because of this, in this particular case, for me it's like hearing some of these songs brand new for the first time. The new way that they are presented here, it's like having a fresh coat of paint on these. It's just, provided sort of a more exhilarating feel to these songs. Unlike, the number of times I may have heard these things on the radio, I'm hearing them fresh and new, which I really do appreciate on this. And so the album itself covers 15 tracks and spans 1987 to 2011, nearly a 25-year period, and it covers 5 Whitesnake albums, including David Coverdale's solo album, Into the Light. And in the liner notes, David Coverdale goes into which of these albums are being remixed and being expanded into box sets. So we get a lot of great new upcoming information here as well. The 1987 self-titled album is being remixed. He had already done the box set, which you can see behind me, but he is going to do a remix of that, which one of these songs is from that, so you're hearing what that is going to be like. There's one track there, 1989 Slip of the Tongue is going to get an album remix as well. There's already a box set out for that with a whole bunch of added stuff. 2 tracks come from that album. Then 1997 album Restless Heart. That one on here gets 2 tracks and it's getting remixed and a box set done to it. Kind of surprised because that album went under the radar, so doing a full box set, I'm not sure who it would fully appeal to other than diehard fans, but I am certainly excited for it. It was originally recorded as a solo album and then released under the name Whitesnake, and I've been told that that is going to be fully embellished into a full-on Whitesnake sounding album. So again, really looking forward to that. And then his 2000 solo album called Into the Light, that is covered on here with 6 tracks total. It's going to get remixed and a box set as well. There's 3 tracks from the album, and then there are 3 unreleased songs from the recording sessions. So this does come with 3 tracks that are currently unreleased right now. Those 3 songs are With All of My Heart, Yours for the Asking, and Let's Talk It Over. And then 2008, Good to Be Bad, this album here, which was actually the first album when they reformed and came back, and they've been going strong ever since. That one's going to get remixed and a full box set treatment on it as well. It's got 3 songs here. And then 2011's Forevermore, which was a really strong, powerful album. They actually toured on it for 2 long years because it was doing so well. It features 1 song here. So let's take a look at this. This is the front cover of it. Just by comparison, since we're talking about the Red, White, and Blues, this one coming out in June, and now here we are 5 months later, but we're getting these. This is the front cover of it. There's the back side of it. And when we open it up, we get it in this format, which is similar to the rock album. You get the booklet over here, and then it shows you the albums that are, it's covering on here and stuff. The disc is in this part of it here, which just slides out of it there. Let's take a look at this booklet. The booklets, he's doing a really good job on here. Front cover of that with no Whitesnake logo. You open it up here, and it starts off, and it gives you a great little introduction into things here. But then he goes in track by track, talking about whether they've been remixed, what's been embellished, who's played on it, that sort of stuff. Covers the unreleased numbers. Then you get some great photos spanning the period of these 25 years. And of course you get all the lyrics and things like that throughout this. No more additional photos following that, but you do get all the way through the lyrics and everything. So you get, you know, a really great written up stuff by David Coverdale explaining things. And for me, that's really the cool part of this thing. Listening to this, I like knowing what it is that's been done to it. He covers that here. So sort of bottom line on this thing, this new compilation series is just, you know, really interesting. It's not rehashing the old. It presents the songs in a new light. Things are fresh and interesting. It's, you know, not like what I've heard a gazillion times on the radio. It's making this stuff more interesting on here. And, you know, so for me, I really appreciate these compilations that are being done because it's like hearing them for the new time. It's like hearing these things, you know, where they've added a fresh coat of paint to it, sprucing it up here. And I love that, you know, Whitesnake is, you know, provides an interesting new way to hear these things. They're the hits, but they've also got deep album cuts. They've got unreleased songs from the sessions on here. And, you know, based on the liner notes and what they're talking about for these new remix albums, the box sets, it certainly looks like we've got a lot more to come. And keep an eye out early in the new year, we should get that blues album completing this trilogy, which will provide more insight into what is forthcoming from David Coverdale and Whitesnake. All right, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.